Welcome to Kung Fu Film Focus. Raymond Chow, Jimmy Wang Yu, and the Bruce Lee Connection, Part 1. In 1970, Raymond Chow, who was a huge right-hand man to Run Shaw of Shaw Brothers Studios, left the Shaw Brothers in search of opening his own film production company, and he launched later in that year Golden Harvest. Also, bringing along with him several movie stars to his new production company, including Jimmy Wang Yu, who had seen tremendous success with Shaw Brothers going back to his films Tiger Boy, Twin Swords, The Magnificent Trio, and of course, The One-Armed Swordsman. Jimmy, who joined Raymond at Golden Harvest, was looking at the opportunity to become an independent filmmaker where he could write, produce, direct, and star in his own films. His last film with Shaw's, kind of thought of as a Golden Harvest film, launched the new Kung Fu era of hand-to-hand combat films. It was The Chinese Boxer, a film that Jimmy wrote, directed, and starred in. This film introduced hand-to-hand martial arts instead of sword play, which was so popular at the time. And that's where Jimmy was very innovative in the industry. He would always have fresh ideas of how to entertain the audiences. And by putting on display the aspects of Chinese culture and martial arts with actual Kung Fu, pitted against, once again, the villainous Japanese, he was introducing an element that could fan the flames of popularity for years to come in the industry of fist films. Run Shaw was not willing to allow him to do this. And so, as Jimmy brought in familiar choreographers, the film was shot where you could see familiar faces, stuntmen, and actors who were right alongside Jimmy and produce some of the most awesome action fare at this time. The characters that are played in this film are very hardcore. The good guys are solidly good, the bad guys are defined as such. And there are new elements that he introduced of subtleties of a love relationship, whereas he brought in Chang Ping to star in this film with him as his love interest. Though it's very subtle, it was introducing something different. Typically in the wuxia warrior films, they're just brazen virgin men who are virtuous and they abstain from love, all of their energy going into their martial arts. Other elements of this film saw less weaponry. There were knives used at moments, and sometimes even a katana might have been seen, but the whole point of it is to show martial prowess of the combatants. Chinese Kung Fu being featured. You have to take your hat off to Jimmy Wang Yu for introducing this element to the industry, because wuxia swordplay films were being run dry. I mean, they had begun to run out of ideas. But also in this film, you saw the elements of Japanese karate. You saw judo, you saw karate, you saw the somewhat of a harsh element of karate where they chop bricks and they break boards and bones with their bare hands. So to offset this, Jimmy's character had training sequences where he trained in the iron palm, where he was able to stick his hand into a cauldron, burning cauldron of hot stones and sands to toughen up his hands and fists. And he began to use that technique against the villainous Japanese. Often in these films at that time, when the hero won in the end, they would show a dramatic shot of the hero walking off into the sunset or the distance, or a freeze frame. it was featured here because Jimmy hadn't come up with ideas of how to create that element of when a film ends in his own right. But this was an introduction into the industry, and give it up for Raymond Chow for bringing someone who was as innovative as Jimmy over to Golden Harvest, where some of those ideas were allowed to flourish. And that's what would eventually lead to the introduction of Bruce Lee. This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Don't miss part 2 as we talk about more of the connection that led to Bruce Lee. Peace.